Hi teacher, good afternoon. This is my presentation about the activity 5, Strategic Management and Competitiveness. There are many definitions of strategic management and competitiveness that exist in companies. Being competitive also gives them an environment to improve them, and then they should always know the competition. This research shows various concepts such as strategic direction, competitiveness, the external environment, strengths and weaknesses that a company may have, and how all this is applicable to companies that are for profit or not, because they are all subject to review and have policies that must be followed regardless of the field to which they belong. What is the strategy management and competitiveness? It's the art and science of formulation, implementing, and evaluation the cross-functional decisions that enable the organization to achieve its objective. The strategy management is based on three fundamental principles. 1. The administrative problems that you contract. Second, the process by which these problems are solved. Third, variables that comprise its mainly concerned with solving the problems that arise the company and it does structure administrative tasks. In the case of competitiveness, it's defined as the characteristic that most differentiates the company from the others, so that it's a profitable and remains above the competition to generate great profits day by day. It also helps the company to stay updated to learn about the new needs the consumers have and find alternatives to solve them and offer better service of product of the consumer. So, taking into consideration the definition of strategic management and competitiveness and relating into the company in which I work, it makes great sense for the following. The INEGI is an autonomous institute that is in charge of carrying out census, surveys, compilation of administrative records in order to generate statistical information that serves for decision making in the three governments, municipal, state, and federal. Also, it's true that INEGI doesn't have jurisdiction because it's an autonomous institute. It's important to mention that it has a code of ethics that establishes how important it's to carry out activities in accord with it. So, the code of ethics, the institute helps to always train the employees and that they carry out their activities correctly. Thus, the information generated maintains its quality and makes it the only company that can carry out this type of the activity. The external environment, opportunities, threats, competition, and competitor analysis. Surveys that do not cover 85% of complete interviews and the reason must be determined to be able to look for an alternative and reach the goal. High cost during the gathering of information due to long distance of travel, fuel consuming in official vehicles, or any other expense that it's carried out. It must be so how resources can be optimized. Employees working more than 8 hours or days and weekends. Rethink the planning strategy to find an alternative and be more efficient in the shortest possible time. The internal environment, resource, capabilities, competence, and competitive advantage. Being an institute with a national presence, it has an infrastructure that must be continuously updated and improved with the most advanced technological tools for the development of activities. In this way, a cost-benefit analysis is carried out. That is, the institute will invest in the materials that meet the necessary characteristics to perform the trusted functions. It will not promote to push or poor quality materials or instruments, nor will it promote the most expensive ones, because its principles are based on the optimization of resources mentioned in the Code of Ethics. Let's talk about the vision and mission. The vision: to be a vanguard institute that satisfies the use of statistical and geographic information, that contributes to national development, to assume the leadership of the national system of statistical and geographic information, and take advantage of the talent of its people. The mission: produce information as well as regular to coordinate the national system of statistical and geographic information, to provide quality, pertinent, truthful, and timely information that contributes to national development. The IO model of about average returns. Adapting this concept to the company, or in this case to the institute in which I'm working, the honesty, loyalty, transparency, legality, and professionalism with which I carry out my daily activities makes me an asset for the company that carry out its activities in adherence to the established policies, in order to optimize resources and generate results that cannot be beyond the margin, or, in this case, what is established in the strategic planning that is carried out. Stakeholders. Regarding the INEGI, it's true that the clients or information, as they are normally called, and the employees are the core part of carrying of the statistical activities, and what doesn't work without the others. However, it's important to consider that the interested party is, in this case, may the internal control body, órgano interno de control, because its main function is to regulate, monitor, and maintain that the activities are carried out conscientiously, and requires and I plays an impartial role between the two parts mentioned above. Conclusion. Relating all these concepts with a company or an autonomous institute, it seems that it's not possible to do fact that it's no company to generate income. However, it's observed that it's all important that they are carried out, and that this type of institute also has its basis founded of Code of Ethics, operation procedures, guidelines for the generation of statistical information, and all this is the set of strategic plans that serve to maintain the quality of the service offered. Teacher, this is my presentation, and I hope have covered your expectation, and thank you very much for all support.